Hi teammates, let's dive into some mysteries. So we've got a phrase here, dormantly Brock in his crisis of defrosting and impetus searching of ungrasped supra-provisional McCoy language remitted the mutual giddy-up. Okay, so you can see that. Now reverse Frank Baconis 3616. Now if you go to Strong's, you get oikode spatio, which is to rule a household. Okay, and that's what the Strong's is. So then I went to oikode. I went to Australian Code on the internet and found this show called The Code, which ran from 2014 to 2016. Sean Seat was the director, which is like Itawa symbolism. And then you've got Daniel Spielman was Ned Banks, Ashley Zuckerman was Jesse Banks, and Adele Perovic was Hani Paranday. Okay, so I've got it broken down here. Australian TV show Oi. To calm me down while on phone, I smoked tobacco pipe. That's whenever I was going through the crisis mode of defrosting, but I would talk to my girlfriend on the phone, the Eve character, almost every night for a long time on the phone, and she would tell me stories and stuff, and I would smoke a tobacco pipe to calm me down from everything that was going on around me, not the phone conversing. That was, the deal there. But Dan Spielman is Need Banks. Okay, Need Banks is like the character isn't a provider. And this is 2014 to 2016, so notice the time here. And that's one of the main characters. And then Ashley Zuckerman is like trying to mend the French-English situation, which is as Grox there, as the Zuckerberg character that we went over with my social network breakdown. Well, it represents the whole struggle between Justin Timberlake and the guy that played Lex Luthor in the new Superman and Batman. And I think Jesse Eisenberg is his name. And then the guy that played Spider-Man. And some of those are English, and one was even from Lexington, Justin Timberlake. But Grox was as Jesse. And Jesse is related to the Long John Silvers, because Jordan Wells, my brother's friend, and my friend too, he's got a brother named Jesse. And Jesse's real into watching like the Weather Channel and creating stories online. We have a lot of similarities. He's the younger brother of Jordan, and it's funny, their last name is Wells, just like my mom's maiden name, and they live in Owensboro. And then but he would always go to Long John Silver's. That's his favorite restaurant. And then he was real into Godzilla too, and my dad's real into Godzilla, so, and I am too. So Grater's cake at Big House after giving away the eyes is the reference there. And that's remember, says Mufasa, my voice tone on this matter. It's kind of a joke, but that's just the way I look at that. So we'll go to Adele Perovic, the other actor in this. That's as Skyfall is Adele, and that's watching vids with crisis confounded man, but as a bad bitch in the smoke. That's O Vic, not as Titanic Rose, but like the opposite type character of Rose, opposite situation of Rose, with Billy Zane as crisis confounded. Hond, or Holy Spirit renewed, as Gur are in his seeking of crisis answers, equals Hani Paranday. Okay. So you can see that. Jodie Foster is Bar Jesus and Hen Hennet. That's what I see tonight with Jodie Foster's Hen Hennet and Bar Jesus. She was reincarnated both times as them. And then, so that explains her a little bit. And we'll go to this here. Now, type this in. The Naked Jungle film, George Powell was one of the special effects designers on it. Now, the ending is Heston blows up a timber dam, flooding his own estate. Now, that's the Ben Withrow stealing piece of Revelation 13 ring, because we got in an argument over kids who were acting gay. I said grace and mercy alone saves, and he thought the kids were societal moral decay. So we kind of just misunderstood each other. I didn't really disagree with him, but that caused a conflict, and then that's when the ring was stolen, that piece of Revelation 13 ring. So, we'll get this here. Gematria native phrase. Phoenix whole life didn't know he existed till now. Full backside filled with tats. Beauty is in the eye of the bear holder. Okay. Now that was like a vision I had, and it was a UFC fight that was going on, and the guy's back was full of tats, and the Phoenix is that's reference to the new Joker film. But you get 524 single reduction KV and 3035 reverse Frank Baconis, and that equals 3559 divided by 0.19 and 21 to be 1921 is 185.26.8, and that's exupnos in the Strongs, which is roused out of sleep. Okay, and Asian's scene of the Fast and the Furious is the reference there. Asians blow up the car of Paul Walker. Dom yells "Nos" to warn him, and then Paul owes Dom 10-second car. So we can break this down fluidly. I just want to get this information out there, but that's to go along with all this vision here, all this information. And so what I see is Jacob Wrestle. The guys that are the underworld warriors, they have like sections that they guard, sort of thing, and that's Jacob Wrestle is New Testament, Old Testament, Jonathan Kleck, flood holders. That's like the ones who do things symbolically. They're flood holders. They don't change because of the water. They don't flow like Bruce Lee would say. They hold the flood. So that's YG Drassel. That's Ford Smith, my friend, and then Cody Ditzler is Jesus World Prepared. That's like the Apostles World, and that's like Church 5, the ones that are all works based, like that they're able, like Cain and Abel, they're able, like ABLE, like they're able to do things. Jordana Brewster is the studio there, and we'll go over what this is coming from. I'm reverse engineering it. So Al Capone, Eve Horns is Ben Gitaoist, and Don't Lay Eggs is the rooster, and that's the underworld arc. Okay, so he takes people from the Matrix to heaven once they get past the Matrix. We'll go up here. The Powell doll technique is what George Powell would do. He patented that, and opposite of the way I film videos is what that is. And Eindhoven is a former butchery. Shesmu God is the reference there. And this is all under George Powell if you go to him. And at Villa Studio Sunny Home, or Sunny Home. Now that's like former Berserker because it's a former butchery. So Bill the Butcher is the reference there from Gangs of New York. Get some good music here. So E gets Anaconda healing as Eindhoven. That's what that is. And then the Anaconda Latin name. Two villas are Jacob and Ford, Leviathan Tooth, and That's what they get in the underworld. And then Sunni is extreme Muslim. That's Tyr. That's the Cody side, with Boss, Michael Polio, as the peaceful Muslim, But it's like you've got southern France and you've got Abu Dair's place, but within that you've got two sects. You've got peaceful and all works based from the Gabriel run wheel, which was the southern France. But then you've got the extreme Muslims, which is the kind of like a false doctrine, and that's the Sunnis. But those are the ones that want the jihad, but they worship the black cube and all that. Those are the ones that are deceived. They don't go with Gabriel's true teachings, the true teachings of Jesus and all that was spread back then, but kept secret. It's all very secretive. So, and Leonardo DiCaprio and like the Sheens and all them, they all know about this stuff. So the studios, Jordana Brewster, all that. So we've gone over this. So the Naked Jungle film. So we've got this page covered. Let me go back. Now, 3 eyes. 3 types of eyes from Ezekiel 17. You've got Sardis, square and pickle. You've got Laodicea, wine bottle, inverted pyramid. And you've got Thyatira, pyramid and eye, or pyramid and eagle is what that is, which is like the dollar bill. So Pergamos is 7 with cut inverted pyramid. Okay, that's like mark of the beast of the inverted pyramid, but not really mark. It's more like Mission Impossible, the guy that has the ink problem, that gets hacked into. It's like they set him up, they take away all his breath, basically, and he's got no pride of life, basically. So Legion, AI, Ephesus, and Smyrna. And then 6 is marijuana mixed with Tess Looky Loo, full scene from Ocean's 12, which includes Damon knows about the Bruce Willis scene and makes a comment there that he knows why he did something, like he could tell that this was the real meaning of a scene in Pulp Fiction or something with Bruce Willis. And then that's the right. If you're looking at them, that's the right eye. And then the left eye is the wine bottle of the Laodicea, the wine bottle up here, right here. Laodicea wine bottle. So, and that's the left. So the code Sean Sheet or Sean Seat, director, you can see that symbolism. Okay, and then we've got this 10163 Realm, all capitals, 01573 is the phrase on Gematrinator. I use Gematrinator because I got into it from all the guys that are like Sardis Church online that want to know what's going on and feel like we live in a matrix, and they all go to gematrinator.com and use that information there. So 163, 172, 818 is the big one there. Hand of HL balances is what that is. That's the diapers. That's R. Frank Baconis, and that's all diapers imaginable. Kind of a joke, but so the Greek root of what you get when I added those up, you get 5005, and that's teleperos, which is like continued strain, full of calluses, deep misery, ongoing hardships, is what that is, the definition there. So Greek root talenton, which is like balance, blade, that's the Baal Shalisha reference. The Baal Shalisha is like the 100 that, and it could be more than 100, it's just a representation of 100, but it's the ones who kill, do blood sacrifices, the actors and celebrities, and even like football players and stuff, but they but they do the list of the commandments. They follow the list of the commandments besides one of them is what that is. And it could be that you sub one for another one, you sub killing for another one, but it's like they follow all 9 or something, and with the exception of one. But or it doesn't have to be 9. It can be they follow all 10 just by faith. It's like they're doing it symbolically, sort of thing. I haven't broken that down completely yet, but that's what it looks like. And then they're the ones that get the mark of the beast and the pseudo 5th age, the real 5th age when it does go down. But they're like Shay, they're like Blade. They have all of the powers of the mark of the beast, but none of the weaknesses. So they don't go to the lake of fire or whatever, or stuck in the matrix. They go to heaven. So that's the Talenton, because Talenton represents our Blade video, which also represents Eric Tavares a little bit, which is the time that we're in right now with the 6 resurgence, because 6 was gathered, and I'm talking about Philadelphia. Philadelphia was gathered in 2015 with my getting past the guard in 6. Whenever I marred my Willie or whatever in the dark pit, and then I saw all this symbolism from the letters of the guy named Timothy, who was an old man in the cell next to me, but he showed me all these things, and one of them was that the pit was going to have like female clothing to sell, and then it said something about Spanish girls, and to bring them out as like dancers or something. And this was on an actual sheet for the pit, like a commissary sheet, and he was like, yeah, look at that, and he's like, it's weird or something, and I'm like, oh man. And then he took it away real quick. It was like a high moment almost, but I wasn't lit. I was in the dark pit, so it was crazy. But that was 6 being gathered, I believe. I believe they left, and that's the South Americans. So, but there could be 2 parts of 6, and then one went through the wilderness, and they're still around, and they're waiting to leave, and they're the ones that kept faith. They kept their first love, sort of thing, and didn't fall away with everybody when everyone fell away in like 2016, 2017. So, which is spoken of, the great falling away. And then Piera, experiment, square, and inverted pyramid eyes. That's that on the last Grox video. You notice it's all about Dracula and the commercial with Mark Wahlberg and Patrick Stewart. And the HD there is the marijuana. And then the box and all that are the other types of eyes that are waiting on the rapture. But Mark Wahlberg explains it all in that video, because he says all sets of eyes want to get the rapture going, including means the Pergamus guys is the reference there, and then HD as well. And HD is the marijuana definition, and that could be the it figure, that could be the Mountain Dew lemon figure, that could be me, is what I'm saying. So, and it's like an experiment of the square and inverted pyramid eyes, which are my eyes. I've got the square and I've got the inverted pyramid, and as the inverted pyramid, it's cut, which means the octopus tree is real for me. It means all my information is I can't lie, basically. I'm like liar Jim Carrey, basically. I can't lie, is even when I say something wrong, if you broke it down, it would be true. That's what it shows. So, I'm doing it symbolically though, but it happened in reality because of the Sawzall Blade incident, and then even from my youth with like the being like a berserker in the water, like that's the way I swam, was as a berserker. So it makes sense, and that's why it's an indention on my eye. But it's always been there. It didn't just happen. It's always been there. So, yeah, and even if that indention doesn't count, then I'm the inverted pyramid. I'm still an experiment because I don't know if there's a branch like this. So now I wanted to go over this as well. Ben, he runs the arc for Underworld if they live as Bruco and Juice 92 in the Matrix. They go to heaven and escape the Matrix. That's the arc. Like the cherubs get the arcs. Well, it's like the Pirates of the Caribbean, whenever all the guys that have like fish faces, and that's the dad of Orlando Bloom. Whenever Orlando Bloom becomes the new commander of the ship, then that's the new arc, and then they all get fresh faces, they all get renewed. It's because he's the new commander and he takes over the arc. But that movie was all about Johnny Depp not doing the brother council or whatever that was that he was supposed to do, the Brotherhood council, and he was supposed to do that, and that was because of the enmity. That was his set position. Like when everything's going wrong for Johnny Depp, he says, "I guess it's the Brotherhood Council. Like I gotta go back to that." And they use the English use that to fuel the rest of his stealing the rings and everything. If Johnny Depp represents the Mountain Dew Lemon character, he steals all the rings and does the spear and all that based off the Brotherhood Council. They use that to propel him into everything else. And that's the hurting of the leg, That's all that leg symbolism. And my legs are all scarred up and are like purple sometimes. And, so, and then we don't know really who runs the arc for Lake of Fire to go to Underworld, then Heaven. So Lake of Fire has a two-step process. They got to go through the Lake of Fire pain and then go to the Underworld and live as Joust 92 or Bruco, which means you have no pride of life. You don't work or anything, and then they go to heaven. So that's what that is. And we want everyone to go to heaven. You don't want people to be. It's a mercy, and that's that Hebe, Hebe God is a mercy God. And that's the Hebe is kind of like the marijuana if you break that down. So, but those are the arcs. Those are two arcs, and there could be a third one as well. For the blue flame or whatever. But that blue flame may just be a healing frontman type flame. It may not have anyone in it. So. Or it could have the Nicolaitans in it, and then maybe they don't get an arc, It's however Jesus wants to run it. So, see if we got everything here. Yep, that's it. So, thank you, teammates, and have a good night.